with the undefeated's Mark Spears.
Good to see you. You all right? Ooh, this is crazy. This is Manzanita Park, right in the center of Oakland. This is where I grew up as a basketball player in the NBA. Now being able to celebrate the launch of my brand with Under Armour and understanding that it's all about purpose and impact and what we can do to support and celebrate the community that's done so much for me. To be able to have a court refurbishment here and give the next generation a safe space to play is special.
The team leaves Oakland. You could have forgot about the town, but it's very obvious that Oakland is in your heart.
For me and my family, my teammates that have been through, Oracle and playing in it for the town and feeling that energy, you can never forget it. And I think for us, and anything that I want to do in terms of the community, Oakland is first.
Looks like you lifted a weight or two during this layoff.
That's all I had time to do, man. It was 7 months of lifting weights. Something's got to happen. I'm feeling good, man. Definitely taking advantage of the time off. Looking forward to this new year. Despite obviously, the fortunate situation with Clay, we still feel, like we're a threat to be dealt with.
You mentioned Clay. Sounds like you had an emotional call with him.
With Bob, Coach Kerr. To get that call was a gut punch for sure. A lot of tears, a lot of, you don't really know what to say because a guy like that having to go through, 2 pretty serious rehabs now. But at the end of the day, we have to have his back. We hope that he's around and he's part of what we're going to do this year through his rehab and staying connected with us. We hear, the chatter around, it's the end for us and, this year's a wash. I knew we were going to be aggressive in free agency, even without Clay's injury, but it became more of a sense of urgency.
The Golden State Warriors select James Wiseman.
James Wiseman was one of your campers. Now he's
that might be the only thing that makes me feel it's fun. Him and Nico Manning, who was 2 campers 2 years ago and 3 years ago. I told them they might have to bring their Curry Camp jersey to training camp before they can step foot on the floor.
Draymond told me last week he thinks Wiseman can be special. You have the same feelings towards him?
I do. I think his demeanor, like you can look at his physique and the raw natural talent that he has, but when you talk to a guy that just has that look in his eye, like I'm just ready to learn, I'm ready to work. I don't think he's afraid of the challenge. That says a lot, and he's got it. He's got the it.
And what are your expectations for this season?
I feel like, knowing what the top of the West looks like, having watched the bubble, LA winning the championship and reloading. You look at Clippers, you look at Denver, Houston, Portland, Utah, Dallas, Phoenix. So many talented teams that are looking to take that next step. We've been there before, so we know what it takes, and we're going to rely on that for sure. But we got that nice, perfect balance of experience, youth, opportunity. And when it comes to a playoff matchup, when we're in there and we're locked in, we know we'll be a force to be reckoned with.
All right, we'll start seeing that force tomorrow. NBA training camps open tomorrow, and the league will try its hand at playing during a pandemic outside of a bubble. Last week, the NBA issued a nearly 140-page document outlining health and safety protocols. Notably, the document doesn't address what triggers a decision to suspend the season, but it does indicate that a small or expected number of COVID cases would not require a decision to halt play. Now, as part of the protocols, any player who tests positive cannot participate in any team activity for at least 10 days, and players with severe cases or those hospitalized will be observed for at least 3 full days before returning. Travel parties will be limited to 45 members, including 17 players. So we're joined now by senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, nearly 140 pages involved in the protocol sent out by the league to teams. What are the biggest concerns that you are hearing?
Ryan, in conversations with team presidents, general managers, they're just trying to plow through those 140 pages and understand it fully, because NBA general managers see what's happening in the NFL. They saw in baseball, when, there are teams who are fined, who are facing losses of draft picks based on not complying with the rules. So they want to fully understand how to implement this in their organizations. And, a big difference now for NBA teams is they're going to be on the road traveling. They don't have the protection of a bubble. And just trying to make sure that not just when they have the players with them, but when the players are away from them, either on the road or at home, and they come in contact with those who might have the virus, how that impacts their teams and locker rooms. But there is just a lot for teams to get their arms around now. And that's really what they're trying to get through here as players are starting to return and camp is on the cusp of starting.
So many more variables for them to deal with than when they were inside that bubble. We'll see how they manage it. Now, you reported last week that free agent Anthony Davis would not re-sign right away with the Lakers, that it extend until past Thanksgiving. So, for past Thanksgiving, where do things stand?
Yeah, Anthony Davis, his agent, Rich Paul with Clutch Sports, they're still talking with the Lakers, and you can expect the deal's going to get done here, before the Lakers formally start their camp closer to the weekend. Anthony Davis wants to understand what all his options are in terms of length of deal, and that's the conversation they've had with the Lakers. Does he do a deal like a 2+1 contract that would put him with LeBron James and have those two, be on the same contractual course? And so those are all conversations. He can do a longer 4 or a 5-year deal. Those are the conversations they're having now with the Lakers still.
All right, and we've got 22 days until the scheduled tip to the NBA season. That is Adrian Wojnarowski. Woj, thanks.
Indianapolis Colts punter Rigoberto Sanchez missed yesterday's breaking news on SportsCenter. The Ravens versus Steelers game has now been postponed to Wednesday and will kick off at 3:40 Eastern, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The game was originally scheduled for Thanksgiving Day, then moved to Sunday, then Tuesday, now Wednesday. This becomes the first game of the NFL season to get postponed 3 different times. Now, there isn't a whole lot of wiggle room if this game does not get played this week because the Ravens will play the next 2 Monday nights. And per our Adam Schefter, the Steelers' next game against Washington, that's been moved to next Monday as well. Now, for more, let's welcome in Ravens reporter Jamison Hensley and Steelers reporter Brooke Pryor. Jamison, we're going to begin with you. What else have you learned about how all of this played out for the Ravens?
Yeah, I've been told that the Ravens players made it known in a teleconference Monday that they did not want to play Tuesday because of safety concerns. And from the Ravens' perspective, they have had 9 straight days of positive testing, including today. They have watched 22 teammates either test positive or be identified as a high-risk close contact. And the other concern for the Ravens right now is preparation. They have 7 Pro Bowl players from last year on the reserve COVID list right now, and they haven't practiced in 10 days. And so for the Ravens, they're getting back on the practice field. They're on the practice field tonight, and this is going to be, and they're going to try to get back on the practice field tomorrow before they board a plane for Pittsburgh tomorrow night. But make no mistake, this is going to be a different-looking Ravens team. I know a lot of people are expecting to see Lamar Jackson throwing touchdown passes to Mark Andrews. Instead, you're going to get Robert Griffin III throwing passes to Dez Bryant.
Yep, certainly different. Brooke, the Steelers, we all saw the tweets. They weren't happy about this game when it was moved in the first place. What are they saying now?
Well, Ashley, at this point, after seeing their game postponed 3 times, the Steelers have run out of words, and instead they're relying on emojis and GIFs. Bud Dupree tweeted a row of crying, laughing emojis. Safety Terrell Edmonds tweeted the Barack Obama shrug emoji. But for all the changes this week, I'm told the Steelers preferred to play on Wednesday night rather than this game being moved to later in the season, possibly a Week 18 game, because that could just open its own can of worms. And as for the following game, the Steelers are in favor of that being moved from Sunday to Monday to give them a little extra rest. And as I talked to Cam Hayward, defensive captain, on Sunday, he said, look, this has been a crazy season, but at the end of it, we hope that this was just another chapter that ends with the Super Bowl.
Okay, what was once a Thanksgiving matchup between the Ravens and Steelers is now a Wednesday afternoon game at 3:40 in the afternoon. Jamison, Brooke, thank you guys both so much for joining us.
Go around the NFL a little bit. An MRI on Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has showed a hamstring strain. He's likely to miss some time, a source telling ESPN. Jones suffered the injury on a run during the third quarter of the Giants' 19-17 win over the Bengals. He lasted just 2 plays before leaving the game. Here's head coach Joe Judge early.